Welcome back to another episode of Sip the Talent Films. And yesterday, I think, was the last practice, the last voluntary OTA before mandatory minicamp next week. And Chuck Smith got on the mic. And while I had some 9 to 5 work stuff I was doing, I wasn't able to listen to the entire thing, but I caught the very beginning and I caught the very end. And from what I heard, and then from seeing different people on X say, Chuck Smith is this, and the other. Chuck Smith had a very fiery, inspirational message yesterday. So what I wanted to do this morning was, and I was about to watch it on my own. I was like, no, but I'll just come watch it here and give my thoughts on the stuff he was saying, and especially talk about the stuff that I missed. So that's what I'm going to do this morning. Welcome back to Zip the Talent Films. I'm your host, Coach Evans, and let's dive right into it. You see Chuck, already on the screen. Let's hear what he has to say. And, I'll stop it intermediately and kind of, if I have, comments on what he's talking about or whatnot, or who he's talking about, and I'll go from there, give you my 2 cents.
On this offseason, how do you think that's going to contribute to his game, and how are you working with him on incorporating that in his pass rushing game specifically?
I think it's just the evolution of Odafe. I think he's grown up. He's, a guy who always had a lot of muscle in his body, but I think it's one of those things that he realizes that with his size, with his speed, and his athletic ability, that he can put on more weight. And the more weight you can, the faster you generate power, with the ability to still have flexibility, bend, and all those other things. I think it was a natural growth for him, to do for his career.
Now he's talking about Owe, and obviously we all know that Owe bulked up this all season, and what he's saying is the key. With that added mass, can you still be quick? Can you still bend? Can you still be flexible? And that's the key. If we all remember, and I'm probably gonna date myself on age-wise, I want to say it was LaRon Landry that played with the Redskins. So he was a DB, and then and this one off season he came back like jacked, and he just wasn't as fluid. I will even go back to I think it was a receiver, David Boston maybe. David Boston, was a nice sized receiver. One off season came back like he was a damn Arnold Schwarzenegger. He hit the cliff soon after that. So that's the key, being able to move and keep all your flexibility and your speed and your quickness while adding more mass muscle wise. And we'll see if that's the case when the season starts, because we won't know before then. We won't know any of the practices. We won't know any of the. Maybe they'll get an idea when they do joint practices, but for the most part, we won't see it until game time. Hopefully, it won't be too late.
A decent mistake a lot of last year dealing with that nagging hamstring. What were the things that you wanted him to work on going into offseason? Where do you see him at now?
Well, as far as the things that I can control from a pass rush standpoint, we want to get him on the field, really get him going, so he's working really. It's almost like his first year for him when you look at it, because he didn't get a chance to do a lot of this stuff. But one of the things that Adisa has worked really hard on is he's understanding the defense. That's the first thing. So from that standpoint, he's working on understanding the defense. He's in good shape. He's having a good get off. He's working hard in his coverage. All the different things that you want a guy to do. Adisa's working super hard, and we're excited about him. And I can't wait to see when we put the pads on, in camp and get after it. And that's going to be really the measuring stick of where he's at.
Now, all that I just said about Odafe Owe, we won't see it until the season. That don't apply to Adisa, to me, because Adisa's not the starter. And we like to protect our starters in the preseason. We don't see them in the preseason games. They don't practice. They practice, but they don't go too hard because we're trying to get them to the season. Now for Adisa, that won't be the case. We'll see a lot of Adisa in practices, preseason games, because we didn't see a lot of him last year. And again, he's not the starter, so we're going to see what Adisa Isaac, hopefully he'll flash, and if he just dominates the preseason, that would be a good thing.
There was a lot of chatter about Mike Green when the Ravens drafted him. I know you were excited about picking him up. What did you see from him on tape pre-draft, and how does that translate to what you've seen here?
Well, the first thing I saw Mike Green was effort. A guy who runs to the ball, and if you've watched him out here, Mike Green runs to the ball every play. And that you don't have to coach them on. That's one of the best things. When you get to be a pro, you shouldn't have to coach effort. And a lot of guys that come out of college, you say, let's go, got to push them. That's one of the first things I saw in Mike Green. And then he's coachable. He wants to learn. He's in there asking questions with Matt and Dennis when we're all combined as far as a defensive front, when we're all together in the room. And that's another thing that stands out in him. He's super smart, and picking up the defense. And, I give Mike a lot of credit. He comes out here, Mike has heavy hands. He doesn't turn down reps and heavy hands. He puts hands on guys. He's shown that he has the ability to, strike blocks. And, in this, again, we're not, all out, and all that will be seen, again, when we get into camp. But as far as Mike doing everything we ask, he's doing it. And from a pass rush standpoint, Mike is very, he's skilled up. Give him credit, give his school a lot of credit, and his coach in college at Marshall and probably Virginia. Mike, he can cross chop, Mike can spin, Mike can ghost. But, from that standpoint, Mike is the best example of this new generation that have learned, like, from the pros, and he comes in already really highly skilled up. So, give him a lot of credit. I mean, Mike is get off, just amazed that, he's in his base 2-point stance. He has no false steps. He gets off on the ball fast. So I can't say enough about Mike so far. Now we put the pads on, so the Mike Green that we've seen so far is everything that we thought he would be, when we decided to draft him.
I don't see how you can get any better compliments from a coach than what Chuck just said about Mike Green. The fact that he comes in with multiple pass rush moves, then you can work on the other stuff. A lot of guys we draft be vice versa. They don't have no pass rush moves, and then Chuck got to work them with pass rush moves. I'm saying. Now Mike comes in with some of these moves, and I'd be willing to say he probably got more moves than Oway, or just as many. Definitely probably got more than Ojabo. Now Van Noy may have a little deeper bag, but probably can't execute them as flawlessly as some of the younger guys. But that put him in the top 3 right there. So he definitely gonna get a lot of reps. So 7-8 sacks from Mike, I can see it. I can see if he's the third rusher behind Van Noy and Oway, I can see 7-8 sacks. I really can.
Around this time last.
Oh, right. So since we at this point, how many sacks do you guys think Mike Green will have in his rookie campaign? Drop that in the comment section. Do that while we continue.
You called Tavius Robinson, I think it was like a glass eater. Curious where you've seen him take steps since then, and what are your hopes and expectations for him this year?
Listen, Tavius Robinson doesn't get enough credit because Tavius Robinson is one of our centerpieces. He's not just a guy who, he came up, he's a overachiever. No. Tavius Robinson, when you look at from an organization standpoint, I believe in speaking for our organization. I shouldn't be, but I think they'll always agree. Tavius Robinson is everything you look for in a Baltimore Raven. Every day Tavius Robinson showed up. And this is not me exaggerating. He sits in the front. He takes notes. He plays hard. He's taken more snaps than anybody here.
Hold on, I don't mean to stop in the middle, but it's something I thought about with Mike Green and with what Chuck Smith is saying. I used to work for this dude, shout out L Dog. He always used to say one of the main character issues are what you do when you think no one's looking. So that running to the ball, running to get water, running to different drills he talked about with Mike Green. The stuff he's talking about with Tavius Robinson, like you don't have to. You come with that stuff, and then you can be coached to be better. But if you come with that kind of attitude, I'm gonna sit in the front, I'm gonna take notes, I'm gonna do the best I can. That's that little coach speak, the way it says, hard work outweighs talent when talent don't work hard. That's the mindset for those guys right there. And the thing is, when you have the hard work ethic and you have talent, which I think Mike Green has, the sky's the limit for him. And then when it comes to Tavius, I think Tavius not as athletically gifted as some of those guys, but the fact that he's doing the things that Chuck are alluding to, he's starting to show on the field. And he was my breakout player last year, and he flashed. I think he's going to be even better this year. But let's continue with Chuck.
Since I've been here in practice, he works after practice. He's a good person. He got that dog in him. And what he's really worked on really hard, we've worked on, is Tavius Robinson now is going to be, I believe, a bona fide pass rusher, and he has an opportunity to have a breakout season. I mean, you know, Tavius Robinson came out of college, he ran a 4.6, but then also being in fairness to how it works, Tavius isn't part of the rush group. You know what I mean? Doff, and he had Jadavion, you know, you had Kyle, you know, you had those guys, and those are double-digit sackers. You know what I mean? Guys who've had careers, so he's not getting those reps. So if Tavius Robinson had 250 pass reps a year, he gets 7, 8, 9 sacks. It's just about the numbers. But Tavius Robinson is everything you look for. He's going to be a good rusher. He's adding rush moves in his repertoire. He's got power. But make no bones about it, Tavius Robinson is a centerpiece in our defensive front for what he does and moving forward.
Yeah, I agree. Tavius's progression has really surprised me. I'm pleased with what I see out of him. The couple sacks that he got, he had to fight for them. They weren't just speed around the edge. He had to like get rid of people. He had to take on a fullback, take on the initial blocker. Then he go get the sack. And then when in the run game, he set the edge like no other. I see guys pulling, he attack them. Guys trying to reach him, he has the speed to kind of make that reach not reachable, or at least string the play out. Tavius, don't sleep on T-Rob now. And I called it last year, and he didn't kind of give me what I needed, but you know that was Oway finally started doing what he's doing the sack wise. But don't sleep on Tavius. Like you look at first down, Baltimore Ravens, because you know we have a first down package. I'm looking at T-Rob, Oway, BK, and Travis Jones. That's a heck of a front four right there. A heck of a front four.
I know you work closely with the linebackers, but I know also your reputation, defensive linemen come to you also for advice all the time.
Right.
Talk a little bit about Travis Jones and Willis Peebles, maybe, and what they can do.
Okay. All right, first let me answer something to make something clear. I'm the pass rush coach. I'm not the outside linebacker coach. I'm not the defensive line coach. What I am is I oversee the pass rush from the defensive line, the outside linebackers, the linebackers, as well as the development of the secondary. So that's how it works now. So Matt Robinson's outside linebackers, Dennis Johnson is linebackers. We all work together called a defensive front. There's 3 of us, along with Megan Rosberg and Andrew Rogan. It's really 4 of us who really put it together. So, you know, you kind of understand the context of what I'm saying. So I do get a chance to work with everybody. Now, Travis Jones, so I can answer your question. Travis Jones is fantastic. Travis Jones is a pass rusher that I'll put him out there one-on-one with 95% of the offensive guards in the league, and they can't block him. Travis Jones is getting ready to be one of the best interior rushers in the game. Last year when he was healthy, he was one of the best interior rushers in the game. The film doesn't lie, nor do the respect he has from the other teams. Travis Jones had...
I told y'all, like, about through game 3 or 4, BK wasn't getting double teamed. It was Travis. BK was not getting double teamed after like game 3 or 4. It was Travis. That's why I felt like BK should have had more numbers than he did. Cause y'all know I watched the tape. So first game or 2, yeah, Mads was getting doubled and Travis was, you know, doing his thing. But after game 3, 4, right before he hurt his ankle, he was the one getting the pressure. And Beaks had a lot of one-on-ones that he should have won.
As he's skilled up, and one of the things when I first got here, we talked about, some of the people that were here, we talked about everybody, we want everybody to have a skill. Whether you're big, you're small, you're a cornerback, a linebacker, we want everybody to have skill. Travis Jones has multiple moves, and he does a chop drive, he can do a hump, he can do long arms, he can do everything. Travis Jones, if things go the way I see it for Travis Jones, and the way I think the overview of our team goes, Travis Jones has a chance to be a Pro Bowler. He's as good as any defensive lineman nose guard in the National Football League. And I think this year, when he stays healthy the entire season, I think he'll prove it and put it on tape.
Chuck, 2 more for Coach.
Been calling Travis that here on this channel. Been calling him that. Chuck just basically confirmed the stuff that I saw, that I thought I saw with my eyes. So thank you, Chuck, for confirming what I've been saying. And oh, no, it was here. Man, you here, Chuck.
David Ajabo told me he spent a lot of time here the offseason working hard. Has a few years under his belt, obviously highly skilled. What do you see from him, and what's the keys to unlock his potential?
Well, I think the first thing is Jabo last year was pretty much the first year he was healthy. You know, when you think about it, that's part of it. So A lot of times when you're getting healthy, you're not necessarily gaining, you're just trying to manage to get back to where you started. So now I think this offseason his platform has raised from the standpoint of he's had a chance to work harder. You know, he has a chance to do the different things that it takes from the strength standpoint, and he's worked really hard. Jabo, you know, he plays hard, he competes hard, and you know, I'm excited about, you know, what he gets a chance to do in camp.
He just gotta stay healthy, man. Injured Bo just gotta stay healthy so we can see what we don't freaking know what he is. Hell, you and I, we damn near got as many snaps as David Ojabo. Or Injurbo, as Hendo say. Injarbo.
Just curious, what did you notice that's different with Zach Orr, you know, this time compared to maybe last time that kind of stand out to you?
All right, I'm glad. Is this the last question? I'm glad this is, I was hoping somebody asked me this. Because I was all last year, I was watching everybody broadcast and talking. I lived it, I walked it, I seen it. I watched this coordinator stand on 10 toes. Zach Orr is the guy.
10 toes down, Chuck. I know what you mean. 10 toes down.
Zach Orr, I'm telling you, is going to be an incredible coordinator. And
Now, I did hear this part yesterday. I wholeheartedly thought he wanted to say head coach. He just didn't want to jump the gun. I wholeheartedly thought he wanted to say head coach. He just didn't want to jump the gun and be disrespectful in no aspect.
Let me tell you why. When we were struggling last year, I watched him stand in front of these mics every week and talk to y'all. He didn't flinch. But I also watched him stand in front of a room someday. I mean, we played after the Bengals. It wasn't like we were celebrating because they, from a defensive standpoint, they did a lot. They had great days on us. Zach Orr, man, looked those players in the eye. He never let the high get high or the low get too low. He stayed in the middle. And I'm telling you, he always would be positive, but he was tough. He's tough on the coaches and the players. And he would tell everybody, he would show everybody how close we were to actually having success. Like it might be an angle of a defensive back runs the ball, or it might be a pass rusher that ran past the quarterback and the quarterback ran. Zach would stand and talk to everybody, and he led. He never flinched. And watching this cat do it, and I know last year a lot of people, you know, they were in the media were saying, well, this guy came in and helped. No, Zach.
Thank you, Chuck. Everybody that came out there and said Chuck Pagano is the reason he got better. No. Like I said here, the man had to learn how to be a coordinator. That's it. The same shit with Mike McDonald. Them first couple games with Mike McDonald, trash. Miami did what they did to us, embarrassed us, and we got better. And then came back the next year, and Mike McDonald had one of the best defenses ever. Won a Triple Crown defensively. Last year, started off shaky. The worst pass defense probably ever. We'll see what happened on that back half. Let's finish what Chuck got.
Zach Orr did it. Zach Orr in those rooms with the coaches, he led, he made the changes in support with Coach Harbaugh and the guys on that staff, but Zach Orr truly led the charge. I'm a witness to it, and I've been wanting to say this because dude is the truth. Dude didn't flinch, and dude is going to be one of the best coordinators in the league. He is smart, he is a leader, and when you watch him work every day, this dude comes to work. I'm telling you, and I'm just glad that was my last question because I wanted to set the record straight because I'm a part of it, and I have no reason to come up here and BS y'all because, you know, I roll. But Zach Orr was the one who changed what we did last year, and give John Harbaugh a lot of credit. You know, he was in there with us too, but I got to give Zach most of the credit for the adjustments that happened in that secondary and also helping us coaches. He's like, the youngest in charge. That's what I call him. He's a special coach, and I'm really blessed to be around a guy like that.
I love when people give people their flowers when they deserve it, and they don't. Something don't have to happen for you to give them their flowers, so to speak. So I just completely love this interview wholeheartedly, and the bulk of this, like the whole middle section up until this last question about Zach Orr, that's my first time seeing it. I saw like the beginning 2 questions, then I had to go back in and do my work stuff, and then I saw the very end when he was talking about Zach Orr. And so I already said I mess with Chuck anyway. So, you know, if I ever happen to see Chuck out somewhere ever, one on me, Chuck. I don't know if you're drinking now, but one of them on me. So that's another episode of Sip the Talent Films. I'm your host, Coach Evans, and we just fired up from Chuck Smith, man. I'm fired up to see what these the front seven do, so to speak, since that's who he coached, and watch him get after some QBs this year. And with that note, man, like, comment, subscribe, share. Put your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see y'all in the next one, man. Peace.